Welcome to News Video Clip. We are now entering the 10th week of the Iran war, which Trump claimed he won weeks and weeks ago. Pete Hegseth has assured us that we've been winning and winning and winning. And yet the war continues. And here's something that Trump and Hegseth are not telling us, and that is that Iran is knocking out most of the U.S. bases in the Middle East. Let's take a look at this report from CNN. It's really amazing.
So, what impact have Iran's strikes had on America's footprint in the Middle East? A CNN investigation found evidence of unprecedented destruction. We can reveal that strikes damaged at least 16 U.S. installations across 8 countries. According to our analysis and sourcing, that's the majority of American military positions in the region, and some of them are virtually unusable now. A U.S. source familiar with the situation told us that they'd never seen anything like this at American bases, that these were rapid, targeted strikes using advanced technology. Iran's main targets? Multi-million-dollar aircraft, like this Boeing E-3 Sentry, which gave the U.S. a huge amount of visibility over the Gulf. It's out of production, and in today's money, it's worth nearly $500 million. Critical communications equipment. Look at these giant golf balls. They're known as radomes, and they protect satellite dishes vital for data transmission. In this base alone, Iran destroyed all but one of the radomes less than a month into the war. And crucially, radar systems. Highly sophisticated, expensive, difficult to replace, and critical to air defense. A second U.S. source, this one a congressional aide familiar with damage assessments, described these as the most cost-effective of the targets. Our radar systems, they said, are our most expensive and our most limited resource in the region. For U.S. allies in the region, there's a dilemma. In some ways, Iran's show of force makes the U.S.'s presence in the region even more necessary to Gulf security. But there's a new reality here, which is that U.S. military installations, previously seen as formidable fortresses, have turned into sitting targets. As a Saudi source told me, the war has shown Saudi Arabia, that's the U.S.'s longest-standing Arab ally, that the alliance with the U.S. cannot be exclusive, and it is not, in their words, impregnable. To get a sense of just how vulnerable U.S. facilities have become, have a look at this. It's the war room at Qatar's El Udeid Air Base, the theater command and control hub for U.S. air power across 21 nations. Struck not just once, but twice, and according to a U.S. source, causing significant damage. The base had been largely evacuated at this point, and no casualties were reported. Iran's visibility over its targets has never been clearer. In 2024, according to the Financial Times, Tehran secretly acquired a Chinese satellite known as the TEE-01B, a massive upgrade from its own satellites. That means that Tehran went from looking at images of this quality to this. This is the first time America has fought an adversary with satellites that capture high-res imagery almost as detailed as its own. As the scale of the damage comes into focus, many will wonder whether America's presence, once a protective shield in the Middle East, has turned into its Achilles heel.
Okay. So, what's happened here is Iran bought a satellite from China in 2024. And because of that satellite, they're able to pinpoint U.S. bases in the Middle East and just blow them to pieces. And this is costing the United States billions and billions of dollars as Iran just picks these bases to pieces. So, what is our commander in chief doing? What in the world is President Trump doing while all this is happening? Well, he's talking about how he's taking cognitive tests to prove that he isn't crazy.
Anybody running for president or vice president should take a cognitive test. And no president has ever taken one except me. I've taken 3 of them, and I've aced each one. One in the first administration, 2 over here. And whenever they get a little sassy, like, does he still have it? Does he still have what it takes? I say, all right, I'll take another one. And they are hard. There are many people in this room I know that are smart. They're not going to ace them. There are many people standing back there, the fake news media. I'd like to have them. The first question is very easy, and they always show the first question is, You have a lion, a bear, an alligator, and what's another good? A squirrel. Okay. Which is the squirrel? So they show that question. And then the first 4 or 5 questions they get a little more difficult. By the time you
Okay. So while Iran is picking off U.S. military bases in the Middle East, we have a senile old man, 79-year-old Trump, telling us, bragging to us, that he's had to take 3 cognitive tests to prove he's not crazy. What the hell is this guy doing as the commander in chief? It's unbelievable. Alrighty. Let's take a look next at a Senate hearing. And this was to confirm 3 judicial appointments by Trump to federal courts in the U.S. So these guys would be judges. But watch how they can't even answer a very simple question about this 22nd Amendment.
Mr. Mark, if I might, just tell me about the 22nd Amendment. What does it provide?
The 22nd Amendment, Senator, my career has mostly been in criminal prosecution. I haven't had an opportunity to use that one specifically.
Anyone able to help on the 22nd Amendment to the United States Constitution?
Senator, I believe it is the amendment that deals with a 2-term limitation on the
Correct.
service
It
of the
states
president.
no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Mr. Mark, is President Trump eligible to run for president again in 2028?
Senator, without considering all the facts and looking at everything, depending on what the situation is, this to me strikes as more of a hypothetical of something that could be.
It's not a
raised.
hypothetical. Has President Trump been elected president twice?
President Trump has been certified the president of the United States 2 times.
Is he eligible to run for a 3rd term under our Constitution?
I would have to review the
All I need to
actual
tell
wording
you
of
is
it.
the language of the constitutional amendment that makes it clear that no, he is not eligible to run for a 3rd term. Anybody else brave enough to say that the Constitution of the United States prevents President Trump from seeking a 3rd term? Anybody willing to apply the Constitution by its plain language in the 22nd Amendment? Nobody.
Okay. So this is absolutely pathetic that these 3 spineless Trump nominees are going to sit on the federal court level. Absolutely disgraceful. They can't even answer a simple question about the 22nd Amendment that I learned in 5th grade. And that is, as Senator Coons just said, nobody can hold the office of presidency for more than 2 terms. So it's absolutely pathetic that these guys can't answer this question. They don't have the spines to be federal judges. They simply don't have it. They ought to be disqualified. All righty. If you want to read more about these stories, we do have links right below the video. That's what makes us different from all these right-wing podcasters who lie like hell. I'm talking about Joe Rogan and Benny Johnson, failed comedian Jimmy Dore, and Tim Pool with his goofy little skull cap. These guys are absolutely pathetic. And all they're doing is just lying to you and cashing the checks. We actually back up what we say. They don't. Alrighty, that's all we have for today. So be sure to like and subscribe, or you can hate and subscribe. Just make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back later with more stories.